Hisuian forms. So I'll start with all of them, then I'll narrow it down. And the narrowing down process is not like a ranking necessarily. And then the top 10 is just the ones that I'll actually have ranked. So I'll start by organizing these a little bit, just by their evolutionary line. I believe there are around 90 fire types, and if you include all different forms, there's around like 110. That might be incorrect, but it's somewhere around those numbers. There's one unused type combination at the time of making this video for fire types, and it's Fire Fairy. I've seen some people say that Bonbon, the starter for the new Pokemon game coming out in 2027, Winds and Waves. I've seen people say that it will be Fire Fairy. I guess we'll see if that ends up being true. I wish I had a few more fire type facts to share. I guess there's only one fire water type, and that's Volcanion. I know. Oh, right in front of me. Right there. We're gonna have to move Crispin aside to make some room here. You'll have to let me know what your own ranking of the fire types is in the comments. Maybe tell me that I'm all wrong if my is all of the fire types sorted. To start us off, we have Arceus and Silvally that can both become fire type when equipped with an item that changes their typing. Since they can be any type, it feels unfair to include them in every type ranking. So I wanted to say that I do know that these can be fire type, but I'm going to hold off on ranking Arceus and Silvally until a top 10 normal type video. So we'll take those two out of the running. Alright, so the first one I will take out for real, not including those two, is probably not a surprise to anyone. It's Simisear. Simisear is one of the least popular Pokemon, I believe. And all three of the elemental monkeys are fairly unpopular. I don't hate them, but they just are not very interesting to me. I'm not a huge fan of their evolved forms. The first forms are a little cute, but their evolved forms are maybe a little, I don't know, not even very Pokemon to me. They almost look like they're in the wrong game. So, not a huge fan of Simisear, so we'll remove that one. One I have never really grown to like since Gen 1 is Magmar. I've always just had a hard time liking Magmar. I don't like the way the head is shaped. And then the rest of the design is, I don't know, it doesn't really do it for me. So, we'll take out Magmar. Similarly, I don't really like Magmortar either. I think I like Magmortar a little bit more than Magmar, which is probably not the most popular opinion. People tend not to like the evolutions added in Gen 4. But I don't mind Magmortar. I like the cannon arms. And I like that they got rid of the lumpy head. But it's just okay. Slight improvement on a Pokemon that I don't particularly care for. I'm gonna take out Heatmor next. Heatmor's design is so bizarre to me. The way it's covered in like exhaust pipes and then the like exhaust tail, while also being a very organic looking design. It's a strange mixture of like mechanical and animal, and it's one that I always forget about. It does have the fun rivalry with Durant, and I do kind of like Durant. But Heatmor never made much of an impression on me. I'm gonna take out both of these Darmanitan. I just realized my Darmanitans are all spread out. Put those there. I'm gonna take out both of these. Fire and Ice, cool combination. And it being a snowman, kind of fun. The, very spiky, toothy grin, kind of cute. I don't know about the fire nose. That's one of the big killers of this design for me. It's okay. Zen mode. But design-wise, it just is kind of boring. Okay, I'm actually gonna take out. I'm gonna go with Big Night next. I do not like wrestling. Pretty much anything about wrestling, just don't care about. And I don't like the aesthetic of wrestling and wrestling outfits. And I know there's a variety of like wrestling inspired Pokemon, and Big Knight is one of those. You can kind of see the way that the outfit is, kind of the way it's designed is meant to look like a wrestling uniform. And just don't really like that. And it looks like it's wearing gloves. Yeah. Despite the fact that I have Reshiram here, we're going to take out Reshiram next. Reshiram and Zekrom are... I'd have to look at a full list of the legendaries, but I think they might be my least favorite legendaries. Their designs are just kind of a little bit too much. They've got a lot going on. They're also kind of uncanny. Yeah, they're kind of strange. Very angular. Their proportions seem off. Yeah, they're kind of weird looking to me. Okay, nobody get mad at me for this next pick. Remember that if you love this Pokemon and it's your number one, that's totally fine. And I'm happy for every Pokemon to have fans. But for me, I've never been able to really come to like Blaziken. The kind of, what are they? Are they Hakama? The pants that like shrine maidens wear. I think that's kind of what they're going for here. It's a bird with hands. And the silly flame wrists. The long trailing hair. The weird head V. I guess next we will take out the Incineroar. Again, like I mentioned, I do not like wrestling, so that's big points against Incineroar. Don't like the way the fire around the waist is meant to look like a wrestling belt, as I rather do like Litten and Torcat. I like that they are quadrupedal cats. They're very cat-like. They're kind of more realistically designed cats. And then Incineroar is this weird, muscly guy. And it kind of ruins the line, in my opinion. Next, I'm going to take out Monferno. This line is not one of my favorite starter Pokemon lines. I really enjoyed using an Infernape on my team when I played the game as a kid. And I don't dislike the line, but I don't really like monkeys and apes very much. So, Monferno, in my opinion, is the weakest design out of this line. You know, Chimchar's very cute, Infernape is very cool. Monferno is just kind of underwhelming. It's that awkward middle stage. So, take out Monferno. And I guess speaking of awkward middle stages, let's also take out strange. Keep that ball rolling, and we're gonna take out Crocolore. Fuecoco, adorable. Skeledirge, pretty cool. Crocolore, silly goofball. And honestly, sometimes I really like the silly goofballs, but there's something odd about this design. I don't know if it's the way that it's hunched. The head is almost too big for the body. The sombrero of flame with the egg in the middle. Just all around a little bit odd of a design. I probably should have removed this one a bit earlier. Magby. Magby is simultaneously kind of cute, and also I don't like it. I don't know, I've got mixed feelings on Magby. I think I like it a lot more than I do the other two in this line, but it's not really saying too much because I don't really like Magmar and Magmortar very much. I think Magby it's got a little bit of a cuteness, which is saving it. But the lumpy head, not a fan of the lumpy head. Let's get rid of Pants here. This is another one like that where I just don't really like monkeys, and I don't like the elemental monkeys. I don't like that there's three that look basically identical with Pansear, Panpour, and Pansage. And then their simi forms are just not good. So, it's kind of cute on its own, but with the context of the full 3 different lines of repeating elemental monkey designs, don't really like it. I guess next, let's take out Darmanitan. It's somewhat ape-like. It's like an ape Dharma, kind of. Don't really like apes, and the really long fiery eyebrows are just a little silly. Kind of makes me think of Rashang from Monster Hunter, and I don't like fighting Rashang. I will say that I used to hate Darmanitan, but it's grown on me. I like it a lot more now. But we'll still remove it. Let's take out Mega Blaziken. I actually like Mega Blaziken quite a bit more than regular Blaziken, but not enough for me to rank it too much higher. I think this design just looks a little bit better. I'm still not the biggest fan ranks kind of lower on my list. We're gonna take out Mega Camerupt. I think Mega Camerupt is so weird. I always forget that it exists. And sometimes you'll look at a Mega and it's very similar to its standard design. They just change it a little bit. I feel like Mega Camerupt is quite a bit different. Like the whole vibe of it is changed from like this very docile and kind of laid back or lazy camel to this like crazy, silly goofball thing. The whole head shape has changed. It's so weird. Which is kind of neat, but also kind of weird. It's alright, but one of the weirder megas, I think. We're gonna do Slugma next. I actually kind of like Slugma. We're getting into the, like, territory where it's a little bit harder to take some out. I like Slugma. I like the idea of Slugma. It makes me think of kind of like a early game enemy design in a Metroidvania. You could see it like just going along the floors and then around and just having like a simple pattern to its movement. I don't know. It's kind of cute. I don't mind Slugma, but we'll take that one out anyway. I'm gonna remove Mega Pyroar. I guess it's a little spoiler, but I do really like Pyroar. So I was really excited to see what Mega Pyroar would look like, and I was pretty disappointed. I know that this is like the symbol for fire or something in Japanese, or like similar to it, but it's just too silly. I also was a big fan of there being male and female forms of Pyroar. So for there to be just one Mega for male and female feels a little lame. It does kind of combine the two. You've got the large mane of the male and the trailing hair of the female form, but I don't know. It's too much hair. Hopefully I don't get too much hate for this, but I'm gonna actually take out Charmeleon. I think it's, Charmander, adorable. Everyone loves Charmander, right? How could you not? Charizard, iconic. Big dragon, not dragon. But Charmeleon, just a little bland. I think Salandit is adorable. There's just something so mischievous and cute about Salandit. So when I was using one and I evolved it and it became Salazzle, I was like, oh, never mind. And I love Poison type. Poison type is my favorite type. Tied with Bug type. So, I was like, oh, I definitely have to use the Poison type. then when it Mega evolved and I saw Mega Chandelier, I was like, oh, it's fine. I don't know what more you could do with Mega Chandelier. You get a more ornate top, and then of course plenty more of the hanging light pieces, the filigree of it. So, it's exactly what you would expect, I guess, but it wasn't my favorite of the new megas. It was just fine, I guess. Let's do Iron Moth. I find the iron variants, so the versions of these Paradox Pokemon that were in Violet, to be a little bit too boring. They are so similar to the Pokemon that they're based on. The past Paradox Pokemon were quite a different spin on the Pokemon that they were derived from, but the future ones, these iron ones, are all a little bit too similar. I mean, it's basically just a metal Volcarona. I think it had like a James Webb satellite thing going for it, which is kind of cool, but overall, a little bit too similar to Volcarona. Let's take out Heatran. Heatran maybe should have gone out a bit earlier. What is it? This is another one I always forget exists. It's probably why I forgot to take it out earlier. It's so forgettable. So weirdly designed too. Yeah, don't really like it. Let's go with Mega Emboar next. I like Mega Emboar more than I do regular Emboar. You can't deny that it looks cool. And the fire, spear or whatever, pretty neat. It's a bit much, there's a lot going on, but it is a mega, so I think that's fine. But, I don't really care for Emboar too much, so I think it's an improvement, but it's not gonna make the top of my list. Kind of in a similar vibe to that. So, Gmax Cinderace, it is pretty cool, it's such a dominating pose on top of that big fireball, and the big fireball being like a rabbit itself is kind of cute. So I kind of like the design, but maybe not more than regular Cinderace, partially because it's a Gmax. I have a harder time liking temporary forms more. That's not a rule, I often do like them more, but the temporary nature of the form does affect my ranking of them sometimes. So we'll take that one out. Let's go with Mega Scovillain. I think a lot of people were really disappointed with Scovillain. it's a G-Max, so let's also do the same with the Colossal. I like Colossal. And the G-Max form actually, I think, maybe a little bit more than regular Colossal. But since we might not get the G-Max form again, and the more like authentic version is this one, I think I have to take this one out next. Let's go ahead and remove Skeleturge, Fire Ghost, pretty cool typing. I'm not a big fan of the singer motif. I like the bird and crocodile, like symbiotic relationship thing that it has going. That's cool. And then the color scheme is weird to me. I don't really like the white. I think I'd prefer it if it were solid red. Primal Groudon. I always forget regular Groudon is not fire type, but Primal Groudon is. And between Kyogre and Groudon, I always preferred Kyogre. Groudon is okay, but it looks a little bit like a shaver. Like the buzzer tool. What is that called? I've always felt like that's what its tail looked like. But yeah, the primal form is pretty cool. Let's take out Victini. I didn't know Victini was fire type. I know like next to nothing about Victini. Mythical Pokemon often are ones that I don't like as much, especially older mythic Pokemon, because they were only obtained through like event things or like limited time, so I would usually not ever get them in game, and then I don't watch like the movies and stuff, so they were Pokemon I was basically completely unfamiliar with, so they haven't left an impression on me. Victini's pretty cute though, so I like the design. I just don't have a ton of opinions on Victini. Let's take out Hello. Hello is similar to Moltres in that early bird Pokemon design, and you know, it's very much how birds actually are. They often have kind of a large body on like this kind of bird, but I think as a design they just look a little chunky. You know, it's an iconic Pokemon. It was in the first episode of the anime. Very mysterious, so I think it earns some points for that. I guess let's go ahead and take Scovillain out. I've already talked about Scovillain a bit, so I won't say too much more. It's fine. I don't hate it the way a lot of people do. The 2 heads is pretty cute. Infernape will go next. On my trending theme of not really liking ape or monkey Pokemon, Infernape lasted a little bit longer because it's my favorite out of this line. I do like that it's based on Wukong. That's pretty neat. So yeah, it's okay. I don't mind Infernape. Hisuian Typhlosion. I was so excited for this because I knew that the starters of Arceus would get new forms for their final evolution. And this line used to be my favorite Pokemon ever, like of all time. Cyndaquil was my favorite as a child. So I was really excited, and I don't really like it, and I don't quite know why. I like Fire Ghost a lot. I love Typhlosion, but there's soccer player or a football player, depending on where you live. I actually don't mind that, and I don't even like soccer, but I think the overall just cute bunny theme makes me like it a little bit more. Let's remove Orcorio. This is the Bale style, something like that. I really like Orcorio, and I really like the different forms. I'm a little disappointed how the forms work in-game and the way that they're not able to learn type, or like moves that are the type of their different forms. But I actually do really like all of the Orcorio forms. I think they're really cool. I like that they're all designed on different dance forms. Of the four Orcorio, I would say this style is my least favorite, but I still really like it. Magcargo next. Magcargo's fine. It's very, very similar to Slugma. They just made it a little bigger and put a shell on the back. It's got such a blank stare, cute face. So yeah, I like it quite a bit, but kind of similar feelings with Camerupt. Pretty simple design. A camel with volcanoes for humps is pretty fun. The blue rings or zeros, strange. I don't really like that. So that brings the design down a bit, but overall I like the kind of blasé demeanor of it, almost stubborn looking. Okay, Fuecoco will be next. It's pretty cute. Pretty like silly looking. I do like that. But as a whole line, it's just alright. We'll also take out Torchic. I think that the evolutionary line brings Torchic down quite a bit. Torchic itself is pretty cute, but then it evolves and then I don't really like it anymore. But on its own, very cute design. And I guess while we're on this kick of getting rid of starters, let's also take out Tepig. Tepig is also brought down by its evolutionary line to me. I think Tepig's design is pretty good, like exactly what you want out of a starter Pokemon. Very cute, having a pretty strong personality to it. Not overly designed, but there's enough there to make it interesting. Cast form. This is just the fire type cast form. It appears when you use Sunny Day. otherwise very strange looking Pokemon. But I do like that it's fire water. It's kind of neat. Odd looking Pokemon for sure. This is gonna be a strange one. Let's actually take Charizard out of the running. Part of this is because I have a little bit of Charizard fatigue. It's in every game. It gets a ton of merch. It's on like a ton of cards in the TCG. We've just had a lot of Charizard. It's a very cool Pokemon. I loved it in the Season 1 anime. I do like it. But we'll take it out. Let's remove Raboot. Raboot is actually pretty cute. I like it. I like it's kind of like emo vibe or something, you know, very aloof. I think that's cute. The headband, not my favorite, but otherwise, pretty adorable. Colossal. I actually prefer Gargle. I liked the little like minecart look that they were going with Roly-Poly and Gargle, and I think Colossal went a bit too far. I know it has a little bit of like a train look to its face, but I wish it had kept a little bit more vehicular rather than big Colossus monster. Megahedron next. This is a weird one because regular Hedron I didn't care about. I don't really like it very much, but Megahedron, there's just something very cool about it. I love that it's kind of like melting. It's so incredibly hot. I don't know if it's just me, but there's something about it that makes me think of the weapon that they summon at the end of Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. So yeah, Megahedron made me like Hedron quite a bit more. Gouging Fire will be next. I like it quite a bit, and I like that it's kind of like a Styracosaurus. I like that they changed the stance. It's a lot lower and more almost aggressive and primal looking. Yeah, pretty cool. It's maybe the least drastically changed of that legendary beast trio when it comes to their paradox forms. It looks the most like the one it's based on. Fletchender. I used Talonflame on my team when I played X originally, or maybe Y, I don't remember which team it was on. So I like them. Using a Pokemon on my team usually makes me like them quite a bit more. Fletchender's design, pretty simple, but I don't mind that out of bird Pokemon. So yeah, pretty cute. I guess let's say goodbye to the Charizard Megas. I know I kept these in longer than regular Charizard, and I think that's because I do kind of like them a bit more. Obviously we have X and Y forms. The coloration of the X form is really cool. I like it a lot. The black and blue, it looks neat. I prefer like the it's always been a little strange to me. And then the almost kelp-like flamey bits coming off have always looked a little strange. I think Darumaka has lasted long enough. Maybe this one should have gone a little bit sooner. There's just something so cute about it, though. I don't even really like Darmanitan very much. And usually that makes me not like the first forms as much, but Darumaka is just so happy and cute. And it makes me think of Ponyo, if you've seen that movie. Ponyo has a form where it has kind of she has kind of chicken-looking feet, and Darumaka kind of looks like that. Very cute. Now we'll leave that. Let's do Paldean and Tauros. Tauros was actually one of my favorite Pokemon when I was a kid. I don't really know why, I just really liked it. I think partially because of that one episode somewhat recently makes me have it a bit lower on my list. And I've also found the wings always looked a little bit too flimsy to me to support that very large body. I do have the Volcarona plush. Each of the wings are separate pieces, and it's a very cute little buggy face. The little hands. Sweet little bug. Valerian. The evolutions are another one that maybe I'm a bit fatigued on. We get so much EV stuff all the time. I still really like all of the evolutions. I hope that they will add a new type with winds and waves. I would love to see a bug type Eevee, but I think that's pretty unlikely. But Flareon has always been maybe one of my least favorite of the evolutions. That's not to say I don't like it. I really like it, but I think it's a little lower on the list when you compare all the different Eevees. Armarouge. I think between Armarouge and Cerulege, a lot of people probably prefer Cerulege. I think it's just a little bit cooler of a design. But I love the arm cannon, the way that the animation works, and it puts the arms together and the shoulder pieces combine to make a cannon. It's very cool. But the twin blades of Cerulege and the ghost typing of Cerulege make it just a little cooler. Let's also take out Cerulege. It's a little bit cooler than Armarouge, but I don't know. There's something holding me back from fully liking this line. I used them both on my team, and I do think they're really cool. There's just, maybe I need a little bit more time with them. Alright, Scorbunny. Scorbunny is adorable. It's so cute. Maybe held a little bit back by the soccer theme of it. I don't particularly like soccer, but on its own, it's just undeniably cute. Little happy bunny. I do have a plush of Scorbunny, but it is Scorbunny in costume, dressed as a Nickit. This is just it's the perfect little outfit for Scorbunny. It's even got the little cottontail underneath. And it is one of these keychain ones, so you could hang it on a bag or something. Ogerpon, and maybe I should have not included it in this list now that I'm thinking about it, because it's essentially like Arceus and Silvally, in that it only is fire type when you equip it with a certain item. Oh well, I've kept it in this long, so might as well talk about it. I love Ogerpon. I love how much they built So that makes me really like Ponyta and Rapidash quite a bit more. I think I prefer Ponyta. It's just cuter. I like the eye to head ratio a bit more. Rapidash's eyes are perhaps a bit too small. And the fire is a bit more jaggedy in a way that I don't quite like. I like the smoother kind of look to Ponyta's. But I really like Rapidash. Talonflame. Using one on my team made me like it a lot. And I often do really like the bird Pokemon, like the early route bird Pokemon. Quite like them. So Talonflame's super cool. Mega Houndoom will be next. Mega Houndoom's actually really cool. It's so close between these two, but I think it being a mega makes me rank it just a little bit lower. Hellhound type mythological things have always been something that I find really cool. And I also really like Doberman dogs. Typhlosion will be next. You know, as a child, when only Gen 1 and 2 existed, Typhlosion and Cyndaquil, that was my favorite line. I don't know why it's changed over the years, but I still really love this line. But I would say Typhlosion is not in my top 10. Very cool Pokemon. Pretty simple design. Maybe by current Pokemon standards, maybe a little too simple, but it definitely worked. Maybe I should keep the two Pyroar together, but I actually don't. I prefer the female Pyroar a lot more than the male Pyroar. I think the mane just doesn't quite land for me the way it looks. It doesn't even really look like fur. It looks just kind of like a big solid blob around it. But I do really like Lysander, and I really like lions. I like Pyroar a lot, but the female form is definitely more my favorite. Delphox will be next. The Fox Witch. Very cool idea. so cute. It's kind of ruined by Incineroar, but I love that it's very cat-like, and it's like Litleo, but sorry, it's like Litten, but a little tougher looking, maybe a little more mischievous. I quite like it. Let's go with Quilava. Quilava is, again, one of the ones that was my favorite. But now I think maybe it's just a little too simple. I think, any of these that are remaining are all awesome designs. I love Quilava, but got to narrow this down, so I'll take that one out. I'll do Ninetales next. I really like Japanese mythology, so, Ninetale Fox is something that's very common, especially in current media like manga and anime. Ninetales is one that I used to love, and I still do really like it, but I think maybe that the fact that it's mostly just one solid color makes it a little bit more bland. Check out Heat Rotom next. This one you could say that it's kind of like Silvally and Arceus, but I think each of the different Rotom have enough of their own personality that they feel different than just a color change. Heat Rotom is adorable. Any of the Rotom are very adorable. I love the oven mitt hands. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Rotom. I just wish we wouldn't get so much Rotom in the games. I think they've made Rotom a little mundane. It's in every phone and Pokedex and then bike and all these things. Whereas Rotom used to almost feel like a legendary or something. Now it feels very overused. Just don't think I can keep a Gmax in here anymore. I love Gmax Centiskorch. I think it's awesome. I love that it's based on that yokai, and the name of that yokai has left my brain right now, but will we ever get to see this again in a main series game? We might, maybe, but that temporary nature of it makes me feel like let's take it out. Let's next take out Salandit. I think Salandit is so cute. It's so cute, especially the little face it makes. The way the eye is so squinty. But I think Salazzle brings it down a little bit. I'm not a big fan of when they make evolution gender based. I don't mind it if they both evolve, but the fact that the male Salandit can't evolve at all, thematically very cool, but practically in the game, it's a little bit like a shame that you can't really use a male Salandit. I am a dog lover, but we'll take out Hisuian Arcanine. I think regular Arcanine is just a little bit better of a design. I do like that it's based on Shisa. It does look very cool. I mean, it's made it this far, so it clearly is one of my favorites. But I think between the two, I like regular Arcanine a bit more, so let's take out the Hisuian one. And while we're at it, between regular Growlithe and Hisuian Growlithe, I actually prefer the Hisuian one. appears from the fact that the way it was originally drawn seems to be how it always is depicted. So it's got like this steam or smoke coming out of its nostrils and back. And it's often depicted with that effect, and it just kind of floats there awkwardly. Like on some of its 3D models, it was just, it almost was like part of the body, like a body part, the way they had it modeled. But when it's just the Torkoal itself and not that steam, I think it looks so cute. And I love tortoises, so Torkoal ranks pretty highly for me. I've got a plush of Torkoal. Look at that happy face. How could you not love it? Arcanine next. I mean, this is getting challenging. I love Arcanine so much. A giant dog that you can ride on. So cool. There's not any real reason other than I just really like all these others as well, so we'll take Arcanine out. I think on the little dog, little puppy cuteness factor, we're gonna keep Growlithe over Arcanine. We're also gonna take out Litwick. For some reason, Lampent has always been my favorite of this evolutionary line, but Litwick being just this little candle with the emo hair over the eye, very cute. And I've got a little Litwick plush as well. I've got two left in this line. I prefer Houndour a bit more, so we'll take out Houndoom. I'd say one of the only things in Houndour's favor is Houndoom doesn't have ears. The ears get replaced with those horns, and that's always been a little bit weird. But I love the design anyway. I think Houndoom is awesome. Let's take out Chi-Yu. Chi-Yu is so cute. Just a little goldfish with Magatama eyes. That whole group of ruinous Pokemon, love them. They're so cool, and I loved the way that you get them in the game. And I like goldfish. It's lasted a long time, but I think we should probably take out Turtonator. Turtonator is one that I didn't like it, and I didn't dislike it. I just didn't really think anything of it until pretty recently. There was just something that made me really like it suddenly. The design is a bit weird. It's, based on one of those a free plush of one of the starters. And it was random. So I pre-ordered the game through them and got a random plush, and I got Tepig. And it's pretty cute. I would have been happy with any of the three, and Tepig's one I got, and so I used a Tepig when I played the game. I guess since I was narrowing down the evolutionary lines, it's only fair to do it with this one as well. I love bug types, and there's just something so adorable to me about Sizzlebead, and something so cool about Centiskorch. Like, what a really solid bug Pokemon this line is. But between the two, I lean a little bit more towards the cute end for my personal tastes, so I think Centiskorch will be the one I'll take out, and we'll leave our little Sizzlebead. So how many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think it's gotta be Brigson. Maybe it's a little weird that the middle stage of Brigson lasted this long, but for the Finnegan line, there's just something really cute about her. I love the witchy theme of it, and again, if it had been Fire Fairy, I think it maybe would be the top 10, but as it is, I think we'll leave it at number 11. We've officially hit the top 10 here. I think number 10 will be Litten. Litten is one of those Pokemon that is just cursed by what it evolves into. I love cats. I have 2 cats myself, and the episode of the Sun and Moon anime with Litten's story is one of the saddest episodes that I've seen. I love Litten, so it's so cute, but it's unfortunately a little bit marred by the fact that it becomes Incineroar. I think what we need for it is like a regional variant that changes its identity a little bit, kind of like how Hisuian Lilligant is quite a bit different than regular Lilligant. That's what we need for Incineroar. So that's number 10. Number 9 is going to be Vulpix. You know, I've got several different canines here with 2 dogs and a fox. Vulpix fits the theme of pretty much all these other favorites of mine. It's very cute and small. That's something that I tend to gravitate towards design-wise. I love the big eyes. I love its multiple tails. Just overall, a very, very cute Pokemon. We'll go with Hisuian Growlithe next. I think of the dogs, I think I prefer Houndour over Growlithe. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe just the hellhound theme to it. The skull look gives it maybe a little bit more interesting design. The Shisa design of the Hisuian form of Growlithe Blacephalon at number 6. I love the kind of like silly jestery look to it. The color scheme is pretty wacky. The fact that its head is a firework that it can take off and throw around and explode is so cool. I don't know, there's just something about Blacephalon that I really, really like. And I've talked about it before when I did my ghost video. Same with Lampent. I just love both of these. So Blacephalon is next. It's number 6. And I do have the Sitting Cutie plush of Blacephalon. Look at what a weirdo this one is. I don't know why. I don't know why I just really like Blacephalon. Number 5 is Bonita. As I mentioned when I was talking about Rapidash, that episode of the anime has forever stuck with me and made me just really like Bonita. I also, as a kid, always wanted a horse, and I know Bonita's design is fairly simple, but I think it works. I especially love how it has a kind of sweet but serious look to it. I also like the idea of if you're bonded enough or if it trusts you enough, you can ride it and not get burned. I know it makes no sense how that would work, but it's still a cool idea. So here's obviously blush of Bonita. Number 4 is going to be Houndour. I was a big fan of dogs. There's just no denying that Houndour is really cute. It's also got, it's not just pure cuteness, it's got a little bit of an edge. It's almost silly with the skull on it, but I do have a Houndour similar to Entei. It's in this classic dog sitting pose, and there's just something so cute about their paws when they sit like that. I don't know how to explain it. Number 3 is going to be Pyroar. Now, when I played through X and Y, I was in a weird part of my life. And I think that my experience playing those games maybe feels a little bit more personal than some of the other Pokemon games, especially the ones that came before it. I would say that at the time of my life where I was when I played it, it affected how I view a lot of the Pokemon from that game. And one of the ones I used on my team was Pyroar. I used a female Pyroar. And that it really solidified it as one of my favorites. And I acknowledge that the design of it is maybe a little weird. The long hair is silly, and I've always thought it was silly. But it's, I like it now. I don't mind it at all. And yeah, I don't know. I like Pyroar for very personal reasons, so that'll be my number 3, my dear sweet Pyroar. Number 2. I know that Cynical used gives my number one as Sizzlipede. And the moment I saw this when I was playing Sword and Shield, or Shield, I guess, I was like, has there ever been such a cute Pokemon? The little, tiny little stumpy feet, the yellow eyes. It's got kind of a grumpy look to it. I like the coloration of it a lot. And then I love bug types. So Sizzlipede is my number one. And they have not made a sitting cutie of this generation yet. But I do have the Poke plush of it. It's quite large. I really like how it's depicted to have this like little bit on the tail that matches the mandibles on the front. So it's like it's confusing predators. They don't know which side is the front. And yeah, I just think that Sizzlipede is one of the best. So here we have the top 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. How crazy do you think my